So the Lord wanted me to come on and share with you guys what happened to me when I was being disobedient, but also highlighting God's grace and mercy. And although it's not going to sound like God's grace and mercy was over my life at the time because of all of the things that has happened, but it's not until we reflect back on our life and the decisions that we have made and we recognize like, oh, this could have got crazier, or oh, I could have been dead, I could have been in jail. You know what I'm saying? That's God's grace and mercy when he didn't allow it to get too crazy for you. So when I was being disobedient, I was partying, I was drinking, smoking, fornicating, you name it, I was doing it, except for crack and coke. Hold on, and pills. I just had to throw that out there. And I was doing shrooms. And I was doing tarot readings, which indicates that I was following a whole nother God. You can only imagine what happened then. So the Lord was sending warning signs that I just didn't understand. It was just kind of like confusing. He was sending warning signs, though, that I did not heed to. And it wasn't until I started reading the Bible and I was like, oh, this is why this happened. Like if you read Exodus, it talks about how God sent a plague of flies. And I had a fly infestation in my house one time and I was just like so confused. I was so confused, y'all. I was just so confused. And then someone stole my car. Someone broke into my car and stole all my daughter's Christmas stuff. I kept getting into relationships that kept failing, but what puts the icing on the cake is my house caught on fire and my kitchen burned down. But also God's grace and mercy was so good because it was just the kitchen. It could have been the whole crib. You know what I'm saying? And I could have been wandering in the wilderness trying to figure out how I'm going to execute my next move with a daughter. And I could have been homeless. But because God's grace and mercy was so good, he only took the kitchen out. And that's something to be thankful for, right? At the time, I couldn't realize it or recognize it, but it's definitely something to be grateful for. And I share this to say that we wonder why certain things are going on in our life, and it's because we're not obedient to what God is telling us, and it's because we don't heed to the warnings. But some point in your life, you're going to have to be obedient. You're going to have to respect what the Lord is saying. You're going to have to follow his will, or things will keep going on and on and on. Or one day, his grace and mercy may not be with you. Because it says in the Bible, if you neglect the Lord, he will neglect you. So you don't want that to happen. You want that protection over your life. So sometimes you just got to recognize when you just have. And I just want to say this before I ended the video. None of my paintings burned down. You know what I'm saying? Because God is so good. It's so good. None of my paintings got burned down. It was just the kitchen. And although I had to pay my rent off his $5,000 back, then after that, I still wasn't obedient. The girl stole my tax money. It's like things will constantly keep happening to you until you recognize that areas of your life where you are being disobedient, like even if it's not somebody stealing your car, even if it's not somebody breaking in your car, you could have a child who has a curse over their life. It can get as deep as that. So I just want you to understand that God is a good God. Even if all of these things have happened to you, he's still a good God. His hands was always on your life because he could allow things to get a lot more crazier. So heed to the warnings and stop being disobedient.